Okay, the fact of the matter is I love hip hop. Hip hop is, you know, something I grew up in, something that I've always listened to. It's a great thing, no doubt about that. It gets you hyped up, gets you pumped up. You get excited and all these things. It's always been a good thing, especially back in the days when I was growing up, like back in the late 80s and early 90s. Throughout then, the way hip hop was perceived, it was perceived as, you know, protesting, teaching knowledge, all those good things. And now hip hop is just off on some other, trip. And like I said, I still love it and I still listen to it. But the messed up part is the messages that are implemented in the music, and it's very disturbing because I can't even actually listen to it without now wondering what the hell it means. Some of these guys, big time rappers like Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, some of my favorites, possibly even Dr. Dre. Um, can't forget about Biggie and Pac. That's why they ain't here no more, is because they weren't down with the real deal. People seem to think it's all about an East and West kind of like rap war, which it wasn't about that. And interesting. It amazes me how many people are wake up, wake up. That's all I can say. I can't tell you that you should stop listening to it or don't pay no attention to it, but if you do listen to it, at least put it in your head that, what I'm saying, it's a way to program your mind. It's a way to hypnotize you into, doing things that you normally wouldn't do, possessing you. It's another great deception that Satan has put in front of us. Everybody has their own beliefs and their own, values and everything else, and I understand that. No doubt about that. Like I said, I'm not trying to tell you anything to make you believe something that you don't. But the fact of the matter is, the truth is right there in front of your face, and if you choose to ignore it, well, I can say that I'm not gonna sit here and pass judgment on anyone because I'm no better than the rest of you. I'm a sinner just like anyone else. I make mistakes. The only thing I try to do is make sure I can, improve on those mistakes and not make them again, and improve myself as a person, and improve myself, going forward, and pretty much giving my life to Jesus Christ. If I can tell you right now, if I didn't do that, I know things would be different. And I just hope that people understand that, man. It's all around us. It's everywhere. We cannot escape it. And there's so much information and so much things that I can sit here and talk your ears off all night long about it. It's just too much for any person to handle. If you're not a strong person, man, you're not going to be able to handle the truth. The truth will set you free. Honestly, when I talk to people about God and trying to conversate and try to get more knowledge and try to seek more information and wisdom, people seem to get very defensive about certain things, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't get defensive about it because it's pretty simple. There's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. That's it. There's nothing else to it. I don't care if you don't believe in God or not. The 10 commandments that are set in front of us are 10 rules that we should live by. And that is doing the right thing. And if you think doing the right thing is wrong, then you're lost. Plain and simple. You are lost. And it's not passing judgment. I'm just saying that you are lost. Because there's no way you could possibly think that by doing bad things is the right way to do things. We have a conscience, and when we do something that we know ain't right, we still do it anyway. You know what I'm saying? And try to justify it and make it seem like it is right when it's not. So, that's up to us as people to figure out where we're going and everything else. God gave us the power of free will, in order to figure things out for ourselves. There's a saying, I'm sure you guys heard it before, believe of nothing of what you hear and half of what you see. It's a, very true fact. You can take a circle of people or a line of people, depending on how many numbers you put in there. It gets translated from one sentence, and by the time you get to the end of that line or you complete that circle, that sentence is turned to something totally different. I speak on also the Bible. I believe in the Bible, but I don't believe all of it. Because why? It was written by man. And if man is not perfect and is not born without sin, then how could you possibly trust it? And I've had people have this argument with me, and they tell me, oh, well, God would make sure that wouldn't happen or couldn't happen. Okay, if that's the case, then don't you think God would also stop people from dying? God would stop people from suffering, people like me, people like you. Don't you think that God would stop that? Obviously, he didn't. So what makes you think that just one thing he's possibly, going to stop people from changing? If you look in Revelations, it says, for anyone who changes anything in this Bible, their punishment will be severe. You know what I'm saying? Not in those words, but that's pretty much what he means. Your punishment will, wow. That's pretty much it. He didn't say that, you can't change anything in the Bible. He said if you do. So pretty much the choice is still on us whether to change what he wrote or what he spoke to man and man wrote at that time. So that would definitely mean that the Bible isn't correct. I'm not saying that it's not correct at all. I'm saying that the Bible is not fully correct. It can be manipulated. Now, I've read verses in the Bible, and I know in my heart that certain things mean, certain things. And I take those things, and I know in my heart that I can believe that. I had a person ask me, he's like, well, if you can take that away from the Bible, then you take Jesus away from the Bible, and this to Bible. I'm like, no. It's a simple fact. In order to change something to make you believe in one thing that's not there, like Adam and Eve, what if it was actually Eve and Adam? What if Eve came first and then man came? If you look at the history of man versus woman or woman versus man, man has always put woman down in every single, shape, fashion, or form. They couldn't vote. They didn't have no rights. They were, told to do what they were supposed to do, blah, blah, blah. Once again, if I was a man, well, actually, I am a man. That's a good one. Since I am a man, I understand that my purpose would be to belittle women and me to be the superior because of the simple fact where women actually stand. Women actually stand as the most powerful, thing on this earth. They give birth. They create life. Man doesn't do that. So I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm just saying it's interesting, and that's what people need to start doing, is using their heads and thinking, because they ain't thinking about nothing. They're just kind of going, grabbing it, and running with it. They're not thinking about it, and that's what we should be doing, because God gave us that right in order to go forward and to use our own brains to get to the truth. Our brains can be used against us through programming. If we don't let people program our brains, then we're able to open it up. And that's pretty much it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like I said, I can sit here and talk the brain. I think I'm going to start making more videos and kind of going through the whole spiel. And hopefully, people will, see where I'm trying to come from and not make it into a situation to where it's, oh, you're wrong or you're right. No, I'm just looking at the big picture. Taking in everything as much as I possibly can, and then figuring out, just like any mathematical equation, to figure out what makes more sense to me. Common sense. A lot of people don't got that. They ain't got it at all. We already know that. We always say, people who got common sense, they always say, man, we need more people with common sense. Well, we don't, because of the programming of our mind through the media and television, music, and everything else. It's like being in the Matrix, for instance. Good movie, great series. Some people liked it. Most people liked it, some people didn't. But the fact of the matter is, it's the story behind the story, telling us, it's actually giving us something, but it's up to us in order to take it and run with it. Same thing with Star Wars and, many other movies. Just like, Satan uses the media and stuff like that for, his purposes. Well, God uses those things in the same light. You know what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted. They're both, it's a battle between good and evil. You know what I'm saying? Not just within the cosmos, but also within ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It's constant. It's always there. Everybody has a right to their opinion. You know what I'm saying? And it's totally understandable. I would not take anybody's, belief. That's it. But the thing is use your mind and think about it first, and then come to a conclusion. Come with proof. I mean, I don't have proof on everything, and I can't sit here and give you, every single little detail about every little thing, because, nobody will never understand or, complete complete the answers from the questions that you might have. But still, there's a lot of topics, I want to, touch on. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about. Another thing I want to talk about is people that believe in, Christ, that, tell me that I shouldn't be trying to help other people. That's not my duty, blah, blah, blah. Well, as far as I know in history, that's what people have been doing forever. Martin Luther King. So what are you going to do? Walk up to Martin Luther King if he was still here and tell him to stop preaching because he shouldn't be worried about it? It's not his problem? No. They actually rejoiced in it because he was bringing the truth. And then he was giving people hope. John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, those are just some of the few names that, I can go off, off the top of my head. But you would have to actually tell those people the same thing. I know for a fact that God wants us to bring as many people as we can in his direction. Plain and simple. If that wasn't my duty, then why would I even waste my time trying to learn anything about God? Why would I be selfish with that information? I don't think God would approve of me being selfish with that information. But like I said, I'm going to make more videos. This is going to be the first one. I hope that, people, watch, learn, and communicate, and basically, come to the fact that we need to come to a common ground, which is truth. I'm going to leave with this one, and it's very important. The bottom line is this. I just totally lost on the tip of my tongue. Bottom line is this. Is when it comes to conspiracy theories, okay? When something, if you notice, if something can be questioned and it is the truth, it's called a conspiracy theory. But yet, we're fed lies and it's the truth. How does that work? Please let me know.